Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what Brahmand, the divine design of nature, the creation of spiral galaxy. Mahashakti is the descent of divine nature which I talked about in the last video. Now Mahabrahmand is the greater universal consciousness or the space beyond spiral galaxy to start where universe started. Now Mahashakti is the one which is Adi Prashakti with organ 40 and power of 18. That's the divine mother with which the Trinity has started. Drattatreya, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva by and large started from there, from organ 40, and which led to the formation of Neon-21 at a later stage for spiral galaxy. Now come to the descent of Adi Prashakti, which I did talk about Mahashakti, the descent. The higher consciousness, the greater universe or Mahabrahmand is made of 18 dimensions. It is from organ 40 and it is represented with 18 arms of Adi Prashakti. I think that makes it very, very interesting. Interesting enough, from the very beginning, I talked about Nirankar Nirgun Brahman to Sakar Sargun Brahman to Anubhav Brahman and then to Adi Prashakti or Mahashakti at the descent of Mahashakti to start to the next stage of creation as we proceed. Now come to the question of Brahmand, and in Brahmand I include spiral galaxy, which includes solar system also. Now whenever I am in distress or we are in distress, we always look towards the cosmos. Why do we do? Because there is impeccable wisdom in this. There is eternal blissful state of consciousness, harmony, and greatest teacher is the sun and the planets, and the spiral galaxy is consistent and uniform by and large. And having understood that, I think it's very clear that we should use the wisdom we get from the entire universe, which is consistent from the very beginning, continue, and it never misleads you. All of my learning comes from the cosmos and experience that within my body. As a result, I am saying mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology and medical sciences as taught in the world are defective. Where the universe is consistent, my experience is consistent, Divyank is consistent. In the light of Divyank, I am trying to explain A to Z of the entire universe step by step so that we know what is impeccable wisdom. Now let's start with Sanatana Dharma. The greatest statement is Sanatana Dharma. Everything in the universe, the source is the divine soul, Atma. Before the creation, there was divine soul. Is sustained by the divine soul and dissolved into the. And this particular concept, let me make it very, very clear. There is a proverb in the universe that, as a statement in the universe, Aryabhata invented zero, and I do know that Aryabhata did not invent, nobody can invent zero, dot, sphere, circle is universal consciousness, is Atma. It was there even before the creation, and it is a round color which is mentioned as the Shunya from the very beginning itself. So in other words, Brahmans who were in tune with universal consciousness knew Atma very well. They knew it is Shunya, at dot, zero, everything started from Ved itself, from Rig Ved itself, and that is what Sanatana Dharma is all about. It is not done by anybody at a later date, and that is and the person who has experienced that within the body is Shibhushan Sharma. When I visualize Atma in Mooladhara Chakra, I could see it. Swadhisthana Chakra, I could see it. Nabhi Chakra, I could see it. Anhata, I could feel it. When I came to Vishuddhi Chakra, the 5 stages from solid to water to Agni to Vayu to Akash, I realized that expansion went out and I could experience Shunya within my body and Shunya around my body, and then later evolution of Atma from Mooladhara Chakra into Brahmanadi to the vehicles of the brain or in Pragyan Chakra, ventricles of the brain. I could see Atma with my physical body itself. and as a result I knew the 5 things were done at an external, and internally I could see the 10.344, and that is Atma. Shunya, 0 is Atma, Atma and Atma. That is the statement which I am making it very, very clear. Now, the honest question, do we comprehend the statement that Atma is 0? This everything started from 0, is maintained by 0, it dissolves into 0, and that is the dot is the beginning. Everything appears from that and things move on. That is greater. Do we know the nature of the soul? And I think I have explained it. What was before the creation? I have explained. What is during the creation? I have explained. What is the core of nature? I have explained. Who are the human being? It's made with a soul, and that's the perfect one. Good human souls who listen to the Antaratma or Aditi within the body, which is circular or dot, is enlightened, educated and empowered. Everybody else is not a perfect human being, as it said. Let's leave it at that. And the people who are spiritual scientists are the one who are in tune with the Antaratma, in tune with the universal consciousness, and that is the perception which with we should move on clearly step by step. And I think having explained that as the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, 0, Antaratma, Divine Atma, soul, everything is 0, round. It was experienced by Brahmand, but they used it in describing mathematics clearly from that. From 0 to 9 numbers, then 10 was 1 was 0, and then 100 2 zeros, 1000 3 zeros, and moved on. And I think there was no confusion in the minds of Brahmins of Sanatana Dharma with respect to Atma, soul, 0, dot, consistency, other thing. Once that is clear, I think we are very clear. We can be a perfect human being as designed to win universal consciousness. As a result, Nisriya Upanishad can be understood very clearly, and we can move on very, very well. I think this description is very clear. Now comes the question. As I told you, Atma is primary divine soul. Sanatana Dharma is that Atma. And now comes to the question of characteristics of Atma and its reflection in the modern science. According to Sanatana Dharma, Atma cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be dissolved. It is indestructible, insoluble, integrated, indistinguishable, inexhaustible and eternal. Everything in the universe has come from it. Everything in the universe will go back to it after being sustained for generations. This is the beginning, middle and the end by and large. My honest perception is the above qualities are perceptible in the inert dark matter, the noble gases. You have helium, you have neon, you have argon, you have krypton, you have xenon, and if you have astatine too. And I have explained that in the perception. That is what we need to understand to become a perfect human being. As a result, we will know the divine mathematics, we will know the divine physics, we will know divine chemistry, we will know divine biology, we will also divine human being as such. And once that is done, the world will have a perfect knowledge, which I am trying to show one by one, rectify all the problems of the world, give a new mathematical design, give the new symbols, and give everything which is beyond the language medium as such. We need divine mathematics and divine symbols which can be translated to every other language which are otherwise inadequate, inaccurate and ambiguous by and large. This is the objective of Akhand Vidyashram and Shiv Bhushan Sharma by and large. Now comes to the Saranch. Now I am bringing again to a point which is very clear in Rig Veda. Nisidhya Shuktam, 10th chapter, says before the creation of the world there was andhakar, darkness, tamas, inertia, and Brihad Upanishad talks as a mrityu, and that is not something which was not existent. It existed as such, but it was dark, not bright. It was dead, not alive. That's it. Once that, and it's also Nisidhya says even gods do not know the creation because they were created afterwards. They were born after the creation. Human beings are also born after that, but human beings can contemplate, reveal, recognize and experience and reveal the entire thing by and large, because entire universe which was before the creation can be experienced within the body, provided the human being is listening to the Antaratma Aditi or Gayatri are Adi Prashakti by and large, and that is where it makes a difference in my life as a result of me, Shivbhushan Sharma, listening to my Antaratma, Aditi, Gayatri, Neon-21, Adi Prakshakti as organ 40, have experienced everything, the entire universe. As a result, I have given the Divyank, and that is all. If I can do it, I can assure everybody can do it. And that is exactly the issue or concept in Lok Palan in Aitri Upanishad, which is a reflection of Rig Veda itself. Once we understand that, we are very clear, we all human beings are the perfect beings, know the divine mathematics, know divine physics, divine chemistry, and I, having experienced that for the first time in the history of mankind over 60 odd years in 2015 to come to that stage, and I am explaining that so that we have a uniform knowledge for everyone in the world which is consistent and without any deficiency whatsoever. Now comes the question of Sanatana Dharma. I told you that was in Rig Veda. Now Maharishi Yajnavalkya in Brihad Upanishad says the primordial space was in the state of mrityu or dead matter. It's a dead dark matter as something which is very clear in Brihad Upanishad Maharishi. It gave a shape, and there was something in a dead state. Has anybody explored the real answer? No. Now come to this is stage which I talk about the next stage. This is statement which comes from that to prove it. It was a dead matter, not something which cannot be seen or experienced. Nirankar, Nirgun, Brahman, Sakar Garbhan is a dead matter, and dead matter can be seen. Dark may or may not, but people like me can see mathematics even in dark matter. Now come to the question, very clear before me, Sanatana Dharma, before the creation of the universe, Shivbhushan Sharma says, Divyank, the divine design which are revealed in 2000, is the concept which is very clear, and primordial space Akash was filled with the isomers of Neon-21. Isomers of Neon-21 collided to form the isomers of 22, and that was the light, Prakash Matra, enlightenment, Akash Bhuta. And once that is understood, I think you are very clear on the Brahmand's formation from the very beginning, from Neon-21 itself. Greater universe from organ 40, and organ 40 having got 22 neutrons, that came to Neon-21 stage. Now comes to the dark matter. All this dark matter, when all the helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and astatine, outer all the orbit, all the electrons are focused only inside. There is no empty space. Neutrons inside, protons inside, even electrons are inside only. As when everything is inside, outside will be dark and there will be light inside, as you see in this particular picture very clearly. And I made statement again, Neon-21 came from fission of argon 40 only. Now darkness, before I have actually explained, this is all the electrons inside, everything centered on the inside, there is nothing outside. And scientifically also says signboards of the inert gases become bright only after an electrical charge, not till such time. Without ionic form, things do not work. Electrical charge is required, water is required, or electrical charge is required, only then it becomes bright, otherwise it does not. In water, elements, sodium, potassium, chloride, etc. do become active like Atma. But in electrical charge also they have that these are two things. Once are very clear, I think things are clear to move on perfectly. Now, as I told you, darkness outside, light inside. Now come to the question of Goddess Gayatri and spiral galaxy and solar system, and human beings are designed with this particular concept. This is where it's coming very clear. And if greater universe is made of 18 dimension, spiral galaxy is made of 10.34419 only, 10 plus, not 11. And I think I have explained that very clearly. Once that number is understood, you can understand there are 10.344 stages of development as such. and you can see in spiral galaxy there are only 10 suns you can see very clearly, and in solar system also you can see 10 elements, and in human body also you can see 10 chakras. And once that is clear, I think you are clear that this picture of Goddess Gayatri is the one with which spiral galaxy, solar system and human beings are designed. In this particular picture of Gayatri, which is redesigned by me, you can see the lotus which represent Lord Brahma, and 10 arms represent Lord Vishnu, Dasatar, and 5 things are Panchbhutas of Shiva. Once this is understood, with the sun is understood, anything is understood, I think only then divine mathematics will appear clearly. Otherwise, you will never be able to experience the universal conscious divine. And having been a spiritual person from the very beginning, and being a scientist or other thing, bringing them together as a spiritual scientist, I think I've been able to do a wonderful good job. And I think that's privilege. Now, as I've shown in this particular Neon-21, the dark matter, they are in cubical form and everything is inside, and that's it. And Neon-21 has got 10 protons, 10 electrons and 11 neutrons. When 10 plus 10 plus 11 are put together, they are 31 divided by 3 is equal to 10.34419. That's it. And there is no light outside, and the orbits design and everything is very clear. And once this is understood, we can clear that I want to be a perfect human being. You got to experience Aditi, Gayatri, Neon-21 and Adi Prashakti as organ 40 within the body, and that is what I am trying to explain. This all can be done during our time within the body through helium, neon, argon, and also fluoride, sodium, chloride, potassium. You have maybe calcium, magnesium. All 10 elements can be experienced as a water ionic form, just like helium, neon and argon as such. And all this experience, then you will know how beautiful is the human body and how we can experience that, how with the food alone we can make ourselves perfectly spiritual and scientific as such. And I think that has been the center of my life one by one. And having done that, we'll move on to the next stage. Now, during the creation of the universe, which I am talking about, is the spiral galaxy. With bang, the isomers of Neon-21 collided to produce isomers of Neon-22. You can see in the picture correctly. And when these two collided, which was dark in the matter, absolutely they became fused together to when Neon-21 was formed, there was light alone. That is what Sanatana Dharma says. The first thing in the world was light alone, and incidentally this is done by other religions of the world too. And that light alone, or prakash matra, the first creation is the light, and with the light time settled down, and they slowly got transferred Neon-21 to 22 with the time energy settled down to Neon-20 itself. Once came to Neon-21, then things settled down one by one, and all the atoms, elements came from there, and further molecule compounds were formed thereafter. We are going to talk as we proceed. And this is the creation, and it is also said that after Lord Brahma created the universe, he took rest for 1.5 years. And now I am going to tell you another thing within the human body. When sperm and ovum get together to form zygote, after zygote is formed, it does not do anything for 1.5 days. It rests to conserve energy before division in the binary stage starts, when 1 becomes 2, 2 become 4, 8 and thereafter. And that is where divine mathematics. Sperm put together as zygote is 0 and then takes rest, then it becomes 1, then becomes 2, then becomes 4, then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512 and then 1024, and it can go on further and further, and finally we have a human body developed over 10 months to the brilliant state to be in tune with universal consciousness, and that's it. Now comes the creation of the universe as such, the word science I am talking about. The voice of silence of Aditi I am talking about. With time the isomer 22 cool down and dissolve into the isomers of 20. And scientific evidence, the percentage neon in the universe, as the scientists say, neon 20 is 90%. That means we have come down to neon 21 as in, and that's 90%. Neon 21 is only 1%, and neon 22 is 9%, and this is 922, which is giving light in the universe as such, and is very, very clear. And once this is understood, you are bridging the gap between spirituality and science so beautifully that you know the wisdom of the entire universe as created by nature as such. When it comes to the question of God, the God means Brahma is the lord of generation, Vishnu, 10 sages, god of operation, and Shiva as god of dissolution. G Brahma, O Vishnu, these are the three stages of development, and over I see that from plant kingdom to everything is made of three parts only. Divyank is the answer, everything else is defective. Now the modern science talks about only three states of the matter: solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. These are three things modern science talks about it. Now as far as Sanatana Dharma is concerned, it talks about five states of the matter. As I told you, Muladhara Chakra is Prithvi Bhuta, the earth element. Apa, the water, is the second one in Swadhisthana Chakra. Agni is the Navi, the fire element. Vayu is in Anahata Chakra, and Vishuddhi is this. And once these five are understood, things are very, very clear how things are going to move. These five states are the lower elements, but I do know these are the things which everybody can experience. But if you want to go further, you need to go for extrasensory perception, and that is where clairvoyance, clairaudience, and higher things come. So 5 plus 1 plus another 4, they become 10, and that is what enlightened person who is in tune with Antaratma, and with the help of Antaratma he can see 10 dimensions within the brain, and then only enlightenment comes. Till such time it does not. When you come to that stage, you will know what is universal consciousness. You will recognize, conceive, and reveal. And fortunately, these things were done by Brahmans in Ved and Upanishad period. Now someone in modern area, Shibhushan Sharma, is able to do and give better divine mathematics, much more precise and concise, in the form of Divyank for the first time in the history of mankind. As a result, all the misconceptions of the spirituality and mathematics, physics, chemistry, and medical sciences and other sciences all dissolve once for all. All the defects are eliminated, and things could be perfectly fine thereafter. Now come to the fire height state of consciousness. I told you Divya Akash is a divine quintessence, Divya Vayu is divine air form, Divya Agni is divine fire, Divini Apa is divine water, and Divya Prithvi is this. And these are the five things which are going to come down as we come down, and then the world is formed thereafter. We are going to see that evolution as we proceed. And these are 5 plus 10 put together are the one which makes the universal consciousness absolutely clear. Now, having understood that, we know we started our journey from Shunya, dot, 0 as the Atma from the very beginning, and how they merge together to form other numbers like 1, 2, 4, that way. Our Fibonacci sequence as 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, different. All the numbers have come from 0. They will stay with 0 and they go further. Further multiplication is only with the 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then comes the 1 again, then 0, then again same 1 is repeated, then again 2, 0, then same number, and this is how it goes on. And there are only 10 numbers by and large which are important, everything else is secondary, and this was the recognition done by Sanatana Dharma Brahmans in Veda Upanishad. They gave importance to 10, 10, 10 alone. That's why Vishnu was also made Desavatara. Gayatri also had 10, and I think everything revolves. Once that is understood, we will have no problem in understanding how universal consciousness and other things designed. High Atma is only circular, light inside, darkness outside. And once it is understood, I think very clear. Now coming to the last picture, you can see the same. You can see three, all the chakras you can see. I think as an, if you ask me, this is enough for the day. Thank you very much. We are going to proceed. So understand the entire thing. We'll have to learn things step by step, one by one. Thank you very